Instagram has well and truly taken a hold of me. It's like everything I do is to not form a single thought. So I'm gonna copy people whose entire routine is based around having thoughts, philosophers, and hang around because I think I found the overlooked part of their routine responsible for their success. Life swings back and forth like a pendulum between pain and boredom. As probably the most famous pessimist, a quick glance at Schopenhauer's life tells you he was, for the most of it, grumpy. At one point, he pushed an old woman down the stairs for repeatedly talking too loudly outside of his room when he was trying to write. But when he wasn't having shoving matches with old women, he was actually one of the first Western philosophers to embrace Buddhism. He actually made some interesting comments about life and suffering.
There is only one inborn error, he wrote, and that's the notion that we exist in order to be happy. So long as we persist in this inborn error, the world will seem to us full of contradictions. For at every step, in great things and small, we are bound to experience that the world and life are certainly not arranged for the purpose of being happy. That's why the faces of almost all elderly people are deeply etched with disappointment.
The solutions to this he thought were to become a monk or embrace art, and I think in his personal life he did a bit of both. Which brings us to his routine while he stayed in Frankfurt for 27 years. He woke up around 7 a.m. and took a cold sponge bath. Then he would drink a strong coffee, but didn't eat breakfast. Then would come writing or teaching, followed by that art we were talking about in the form of music. But here comes the legendary 2-hour walk. Every day, no matter the weather, Schopenhauer would take this 2-hour walk. And at first I thought this was kind of weird, like 2 hours is a long time. Like that's too long for a normal walk. That's a suspiciously long walk. But then I looked up other philosophers, and people like Nietzsche and Camus both did the same thing. Not 2 hours, but, well, Nietzsche was even longer, but they both loved walking. Nietzsche even said that all truly great ideas are conceived while walking. So there has to be something to it. But what? And I think it has something to do with setting up the right conditions to have a good idea. It's kind of like if you were running a marathon. If you wanted to make sure you had the best chance of performing well, you'd set yourself up, getting a good night's sleep before and eating correctly. In the same way, if you want to come up with a good original idea, you need to get your brain to the point where it's well set up to do that. The director Jane Campion kind of touched on this.
The unconscious mind is a little bit like a quite shy pet, and you have to set conditions where it trusts that if it comes out and plays, you'll feed it, you'll pay attention to it, you won't ignore it, you won't scare it.
So when Schopenhauer takes these long walks, or any of these philosophers do, they're setting up the necessary conditions to promote that type of thinking. And this idea about setups is definitely a thought I'm going to carry from now on. But this isn't the only secret to his success. The other one was pushing old women downstairs. But for real, there are more hidden gems. As for the rest of his day, it was really quite simple. He would go to bed early and maybe read something motivational before bed, like the Upanishads. But he didn't really do much. There's not much variation. And here I think there's something important. The fact that he doesn't do a lot is a bit boring, sure, but I think that's the whole point. And it reminds me of this idea from Alex Hormozy, that when you look at someone who's outperforming you at a task you want to be good at, it's really easy to ask the question, what do they have that I don't? But that might not actually be the question to ask. The question might be, what do I have that they don't? What extra weight am I carrying that they aren't? I mean, think of Usain Bolt, for example. It's very likely that he also had a super simple schedule. Wake up, sprint, rest, sleep, wake up, sprint, rest, blah 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 blah. Never giving energy to things that pull him away from his main goal. And I think Schopenhauer is the same. He's the intellectual version of this. All he does, all day long, his 2-hour walks, it's all to help him think. And I think this type of attitude towards anything, even if you only do it for a brief period in your life, is amazingly fruitful. But again, he did push an old woman down the stairs, so what does he really know, you know?